Our reporter Hasina Gori is standing by now from there. Hasina, a very good morning to you. Has the briefing started?
Yes, Desiree, we are waiting. The briefing is expected to begin in about an hour's time at about 12 o'clock. The Gauteng Premier David Makhura, along with a few of his MECs, are expected to brief the media on some of the plans that they have in place to put in place and implement the lockdown rules that we heard President Cyril Ramaphosa announce on Monday evening. So we'll get clarity on what exactly will be taking place with regards to the vulnerable, the homeless. We know that shelters were meant to be put into place for those. So it's finding out how many of the homeless are there in Gauteng and where would they be put up. Also, as you mentioned, finding out more on tracing of patients that may have come in contact with people that are that have tested positive for COVID-19, as well as some of the health places that have been set up, where the Gauteng, which is the smallest province but is the most populated, what plans are in place to ensure that they can cope with the health burden that might come with the COVID-19 infection spreading. Right now, the message that we're hearing continuously is flattening that curve and curbing the spread of COVID-19 infections. We know that right now Gauteng is still the highest number, with Johannesburg being still the highest. So it's really that call is going to be continued again today by the ministers, telling people to stay indoors, to not go out unnecessarily, and to sanitize and wash their hands continuously. But we will hear more from the MEC as well as the Premier in a little bit.
Hasina, especially with that announcement by the minister this morning that a part of the increase in the number of people who have been detected is 64 comes from Gauteng.
As we know that Gauteng is a transit province, it's one that we see internal and external migration to this area, with people coming in and out daily for economic purposes mainly. So we are seeing that number rising here, and we're going to hear from the MEC of Transport, MEC of Health, Education, Social Development, Arts and Culture, all the different MECs in this province, telling us how they're going to really implement the plans to flatten the curve. We know that, in the informal settlement, sanitation is a big issue, and we heard from the minister last week already saying that water was going to be supplied to these vulnerable areas. We'll find out whether these plans have been put into place as yet, and what exactly can people do to play their part. We know that, as I mentioned, it is an internal migration space as well, and many people before the lockdown, with the holiday season upon us and Easter coming up, many are saying they're going to leave the urban area, leave Gauteng and go back to their hometowns, which may be in the rural areas, which we've heard government saying people should not do, because that spreads the coronavirus. Even if you might not be infected or you haven't tested positive, yes, you may be a carrier, and that puts others at risk. So these are some of the issues that will be unpacked at this briefing.
Hasina, that briefing coming at 12, you said?
Yes, in a little bit time.
Thank you so much, Hasina Gori there. We will be going there.